Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our reflection. Whatever time you are tuning in to see this, you will see that I am now encamped, not at Chris and Avril's this time, but down at St. Peter's in Inkborough. There's a special reason behind this. The fact that I've been talking about it for so long now, but this is actually marking my 12-month anniversary. When you shall be watching this on the 26th, my licensing service was actually on the 25th. It seems strange why it's Wednesday and then the licensing was on the Sunday, but we've had this year's a leap year, so that's why it's jumped forward to the Tuesday. So that's why I'm down at St. Peter's, and I wonder if any of us can remember what the reading was that I was asked to choose. How important is that? I was asked to choose what reading there was at my licensing service. And the reading I chose, which my training incumbent, Reverend Martin Strang, read, was 1 Samuel chapter 3, which is the call of Eli. So I'm just going to share with you that now. The boy Samuel ministered before the Lord under Eli. In those days, the word of the Lord was rare. There were not many visions. One night, Eli, whose eyes were becoming weak, that he could barely see, was lying down in his usual place. The lamp of God had not yet gone out, and Samuel was lying down in the house of the Lord, where the ark of God was. Then the Lord called Samuel. Samuel answered, "Here I am." And he ran to Eli and said, "Here I am. You called me." But Eli said, "I did not call. Go back and lie down." So he went and lay down. Again the Lord called Samuel. And Samuel got up and went to Eli and said, "Here I am. You called me." "My son," Eli said, "I did not call. Go back and lie down." Now Samuel did not yet know the Lord. The word of the Lord had not yet been revealed to him. A third time the Lord called Samuel, and Samuel got up and went to Eli and said, "Here I am, you called me." Then Eli realized that the Lord was calling the boy. So Eli told Samuel, "Go and lie down. And if he calls you, say, 'Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening.'" So Samuel went and lay down in his place. The Lord came and stood there, calling as at the other times, "Samuel, Samuel." Then Samuel said, "Speak, for your servant is listening." I can take my glasses off and actually see into the camera perfectly this time, because this reflection is completely and utterly unscripted. It's a reflection that I'm going to give on my first 12 months, as I've said, being priest in charge of this wonderful place. So the 25th of June, very much a hot summer's day, I can remember. The bells had been ringing for a good length of time in the village, and I trotted off down to St. Peter's for the licensing service. It was a fantastic service. The church was full. I can remember the buzz of the atmosphere. I was actually watching the licensing service on YouTube this morning, and I saw myself doing that strange thing when I ran up the centre of the aisle, trying to share the peace with everybody, with my hands spread out. It's quite comical, really, what you do when you're feeling nervous. So where do we go from there? It would be wrong of me not to mention very early on the two major funerals that we had in the benefice. Almost the next day, on the Monday, was Audrey Steele. We had the funeral, dear Elizabeth's sister, a really large funeral here at St. Peter's. And then just a few weeks later, or a matter of probably days later, I can't quite remember, is our friend Nigel Seiler, we again had a big funeral here in the benefice, here at St. Peter's. There's been many other funerals, we've had weddings, and obviously we've had our church services. So where does that take us? I remember standing at my licensing service and saying, all we have to do is find out where God is at work and join in. And that's what I want to echo again today, that where is God at work? I've seen God at work in all our congregations, in each one of our churches. I've seen God at work, and I've seen God at work in our communities. So it's for us to find and look for that work of God and to see if we can help and join in what we can. So what was the first major service? I would suggest St. James's patronal service at the end of July. That's coming up again very soon. That was the first big service, a real warm, welcoming service over at St. James in Kington. Then we moved forward and started to step in towards autumn and harvest. And we had again that wonderful harvest service, again at St. James in Kington, that Avril had arranged. We had the choir and we were all tightly packed into St. James, and we ploughed the fields and we scattered and we sang all the songs of harvest. Fast forwarding, it seems like a blur, but fast forwarding, we then moved towards remembrance. Quite a wet and miserable day that ended up the service being in church. But again, well supported and a fitting tribute to our war heroes. Moving towards Christmas, we had our fabulous carols by candlelight, again organised by Chris and Avril. A full church, a fantastic choir, and meticulous operation from Chris from above, with lights fading in and out at the appropriate occasions. A real warmth and joy from the village who come to support that service. We then had our Christmas services. I can remember standing here in St. Peter's and doing my chocolate nativity and throwing chocolate around the church. It seemed to go quite well. The children seemed to enjoy eating all the chocolates. We celebrated Jesus' birth on Christmas Day. We moved forward into a new year, and with all the different occasions that brings. Moving into spring, moving forward towards Easter. Again, celebrating Easter, that Easter Eve service down at Dormston. Another wonderful service. Dormston also hosted a really special Christmas Eve service. Again, the church is such a small church, as you know, Dormston, but packed to the rafters for that special Christmas Eve service. But the Easter Vigil service I've just mentioned, again, when our Easter candles are lit for that first time from the bonfire, and then celebrating that Easter Day, celebrating Easter Day in each one of our churches, celebrating the risen Christ in our lives. It is and still is the greatest privilege, one of the greatest privileges of my life, to be priest in charge in this place. I absolutely love it, and nothing has changed that when I get up every morning, I still feel like I'm on holiday. That's not through the lack of work or busyness, as you well imagine. I hope and pray that you can see my passion for God, my passion for being involved, my passion for trying out new things. And I hope you forgive me when I've not been present where I needed to be or where I should have been or different things. Life does get busy, as you can well imagine. Moving backwards towards that licensing service, I stood at the front, and again, like I said, I've watched it this morning, and my statement was, I would like to thank my family. And I echo those words again, thanking my family for their support, their love, and most especially thanking Karen. She is my rock and my support. She is my biggest critic. She is my biggest support. She encompasses everything that I know I've got a confidant that I can turn to in times of need, in times of rejoicing. So my deepest thanks go to my family and to Karen. My next statement at that licensing service was thanking my friends that had come to witness that licensing service and describing you all as future friends. I can edit the future out now because you are now my friends. I then said about trying to learn so everybody's name. I'm still getting there. I'm probably 99% there. There's still a few that I might get mixed up, but do appreciate, I do try my best in that. So where are we? We are in a wonderful place in the world, a wonderful place in God's country. And we are moving forward. I don't have to start talking about firsts anymore. They've all been done. We're moving forward in the love of God. We're moving forward together as friends. We're trying to find out what God's call is on each one of our lives. Each one of our churches does so much, and the people who serve within the churches. I thank our church wardens. I thank all the people that welcome. I thank all the people on the coffee rotas, everybody. That statement of every member ministry is wholly supported in my heart. And each one of you know the little tasks that you do, unlocking the church, closing the church, cleaning the church. It's an amazing commitment of each one of you, your service to God. So accept my deepest thanks. We move forward in love and service of God, and we give thanks for the grace and the blessings that he continues to shower upon us. Amen.